Happy Father's Day, Gun Nuts. This is Nathan, and welcome to the Reloaders Press. This week's weekly recap is going to be a little bit shorter just because there hasn't been a ton of content put out this week, by and large. I think maybe that has something to do with maybe a little bit of backlash from YouTube, giving some people some strikes, people maybe a little bit tenuous on whether or not to upload a video, but guys, we'll just keep doing our work. Speaking of doing work, Eagle Eye Shooting put out a challenge to all of our reloaders out there, specifically the Reloaders Network, but this extends to everybody, to shoot our reloads as far as we can at a beer/soda can and give yourself 10 shots to try to hit it. It says you can do as many sighters as you possibly want, but once you put your can out there and you get started for your shoot, you have 10 shots. They're also going to do this not just with rifles, but also with handguns for some people like me that don't have a super long range. I'm planning on using my 7.5 K31, 7.5 millimeter by 55 K31 to shoot 300 yards open sighted is going to be what I'm going to throw out there. I think I'm going to get to that probably next week. This week we're still doing a little bit of reloading, room renovation. Once this is done, hopefully this will be wrapped up this week, or at least at a stopping point this week. We can get into doing some other fun stuff. Speaking of fun stuff there, Uncle Jim shows us some quick, kind of accurate, and really inexpensive ways to sort and inspect our brass. I think I saw a video before where to get cast bullets, powder-coated cast bullets apart, Elvis Ammo shook a box and they all came apart. I thought, wow, that's really simple, easy way to do it. Well, what Uncle Jim shows is if you do the same thing with cases, they stand on their base. Sort of like primers do. When you shake them in that tray, they all just kind of stand, or they flip over. Well, cases will stand up on their base. I've noticed this before when I was shaking out my cases from doing wet tumbling, that they all seem to stand up. Well, it just seems to be the way they work. And once you have them all stood up and you can lay them out on your bench, really, it's really easy to kind of tell who's tall and who's short. And then you'll be able to take a look at the case mount. So it's a really good video by Uncle Jim. He also puts out some other stuff. He's been busy this week, does some really good videos. Speaking of really good videos, Charles Irby kind of stepped up his game this past week with some really high quality work. One of which kind of shows the day in the life of a retired old guy. And I'll tell you, it looks like heaven from here. Looks like he just has a really good setup and can have some really good and fun days relaxing doing what he wants to do. He also does a video on an RCBS green machine, which I've never seen used. I've seen pictures of them, but I've never actually seen them in process, and if you haven't, I really recommend taking a look at it. These old presses, they don't get a lot of play. I think people tend to want to look for newer stuff. I even have that habit. I want to look at the newest thing to see what's available, but really the older presses are just neat. There's a lot of character to them. My dad, mom have a Lyman All-American, which isn't a super old press, but it's an older press, older turret press. And I always liked that press. It always seemed very accurate, and the way it worked was kind of different. You didn't bring the case up to meet the die, you brought the die down to meet the case. And there's a lot of interesting type presses out there, guys, so don't just get stuck in what's new. In fact, this week, I went and picked up a Lyman 310 tool for 45 Colt just for something to mess around with. So Charles does some really good videos. They're very well edited. He shows some different camera angles. I really recommend taking a look at those. KFW loads some 38 specials with berries and with berries/extreme bullets. I think they're called extreme now. And some Hornady 158 grain lead semi-wide cutter hollow point, those little extruded bullets. And some berries, I think they're 125 grain bullets. He gets the berries load down to about a little bit below 13 cents a shot, and he gets the Hornadys down to about a little bit under 17 cents per shot, and he gets some pretty good results with it. So if you're looking to try to load 38 special and you're looking to do it under a budget, take a look at KFW, see what he's doing, and kind of get yourself a really good starting spot on a load. Treetop Flyer develops a CFE pistol load for the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev. What I think is great about this video is he's working off of manual. He's working off of paper. There isn't a CFE pistol load for the 7.62 by 55 Tokarev, so he's having to extrapolate data He's having to try to start at a low and where he thinks it's going to work, then work its way up. So if you're ever in a situation, Tim over PC Bullet Empire does this a lot too, where he works off of manual, looking for different types of powders. Sometimes we're in powder shortages. Sometimes there's really good powders that you don't have data on, that you would like to use for one particular reason or another. Maybe it's the CFE pistol, which burns really clean and has some good accuracy potential and speed potential, and you want to try it. So this gives you an idea of how to start that. I really recommend being safe with this, guys. Don't necessarily follow everybody's load. Every gun's different, so you know the standard disclaimer on that. But it's a really good showing on how to start a process like that. 243 Outdoors answers an age-old question, one that's been on my mind for as long as I've been shooting. What does a 500 Smith & Wesson do to a big old can of green beans? It's worth finding out. JH586 casts some beautiful bullets for his 35 Remington tests. If you haven't taken a look at JH586, take a look at what he's doing with the 35 Remington. He's got some really good loads that he's been working up in that lever gun. I recommend taking a look at that for sure. Fortune Cookie 45LC makes up a new round, a 45-55. He's got a light Encore, I think it's an Encore rifle. It's really it's like a 6-pound rifle, and shooting a 45-70 in it with the amount of power it takes to get your case capacity, to get your speeds, to get everything else, it would have a lot of recoil. It would be fine for hunting, but for target shooting, it'd really be it'd be a little abusive. So he makes up a 45-55. So short, changes the case capacity, and he trims the cases to 1.8 inches. Take a look at that video. That's another kind of off-standard thing. Seeing what guys are doing, it's kind of it's a little bit different, a little bit out there. Georgia Boy 44 gets a new bench from Sam's Club. If you guys are watching my videos, you know I'm going through bench making hell, but it's coming out in the end. Well, Georgia Boy skips all that and just goes to Sam's Club and picks one up. $200. It looks like it is very well made. I bought a bench from Harbor Freight. I don't know if you've seen this bench. It's kind of it looks like it's a butcher's block, but it's not really. And it's really not tough enough for reloading, in my opinion. If I really wanted if I tried to reload on it, eventually I would have torn the top all apart. But the one that Georgia Boy got looks like it is rock solid, guys. It has a very sturdy metal base that's just... Anyway, take a look at his video and take a look at this bench. I really think it's worth looking at. I think he got it for about $200. So it's a really good option. Now for a little bit more portable option, Measuring Grains does a video where he takes one of those Black & Decker workbenches, one of those like portable workbenches, and makes a top that slides into it that you can clamp in. And you can do some light reloading on it. I really don't recommend doing heavy reloading on it. No case reforming, but you can do some light reloading on it. You can shoot with it. It's portable. You can just pull it up, pull it together, take it wherever you need to go. That looks like it has a lot of uses. And I know some of those workbenches, those Black & Decker workbenches, I know they were relatively inexpensive at one time. I don't know what they're at right now. But if you can get them for a good price, I think that would be a really fun option to take shooting and to be able to do some reloading at the range. Amuser gives a channel update. Speaking of bench, he also does another bench video. I guess it's just that time of year. And he doesn't really get in depth with his bench or anything. He just kind of shows you that it's done and gives you kind of a channel update on where he's looking to move as far as what his next project's going to be, and then him finishing up his Grendels coming up. So give him a look, give him a thumbs up. Guys, I think that's going to about do it this week. You can check me out on Facebook or Instagram. Really check me out on Slack and the Reloaders Network. So that's where a lot of these guys are. That's where a lot of reloaders are. We're having more and more people come on a day, every day. The site's getting better. So go take a look at the Reloaders Network. We have guys that are reposting videos that you may not... Another thing I wanted to bring up real quick. For instance, my Taurus series has been privatized due to YouTube issues. Well, it's all been moved over to YouTube. Well, if you might not know that, but if you check the Reloaders Network, I'm uploading those videos onto the Reloaders Network as well. So is Loads of Bacon, so are some of the other guys. So some of the videos that have been pulled off of YouTube by us content creators due to trying to fit within the guidelines of YouTube are putting them on the Reloaders Network from another hosting site, and this allows you to have access to them. So Loads of Bacon right now has been uploading several different video series. One of them I think is on his 45 ACP, and he's been doing some other ones. So if you want to kind of get into some of his videos, this might be the easiest way to do that, is just kind of going on there and see what's been uploaded today or whatever this week. But guys, I appreciate it. I know this is a little bit shorter than normal, but until next week, stay safe, have fun. I'll see you when I see you. Later.